Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Big waves to you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. So I was kidding about the accent comments. I think we could all agree. We all have accents in our own right, different places for different people, right? So, and I definitely know I have one. So good to see everybody. We're going to finish up the week. Madeline, I'm going to give you a big shout out again. Thank you for the words this week. And today is ability. Ability. You look at the definition, it's possession of the means or skills to do something. Talent, skill, or proficiency in a particular area. Ability. So come across this quote that says, ability is a light bulb. If you don't turn it on, it will never shine. Think about that. What are you doing with your ability? You know, I say this all the time, but God put us on this earth to thrive, not to survive. And he put us on this earth to thrive because he gave us the ability to thrive. And one of the places I went today was ability is the skill and qualities which makes it possible to achieve goals. And to me, there's two types of abilities, intellectual and physical abilities. And if you look at both of those, intellectual obviously is the capacity to do mental activities. I mean, who do you know in your life, or maybe it's you, that is really good at doing mental things, like mental activities? Like they're really good. They're thinkers, they're doers, like they can look at things. They can, I'm thinking of a lot of people in my mind right now that are really good. They have great intellectual ability. And then there's other people out there that's got physical ability to do tasks with on demand, stamina, desire, strength. You know, I can think of people that have really, really good physical ability. And maybe you have both. Maybe this person that you're thinking about has both intellectual and physical. But where I went this morning was going back to, we were truly put here on this earth to thrive. And we were given the ability to do that. And a great example of that is when I look at people in our history, I look at someone like Helen Keller. How many of you know about Helen Keller, right? Deaf, blind, but flourished, right? And so many times, like I know in my life, like I look at, it's easy for me to go, you know what, I'm not good at social media. You know what, I didn't come up from that era. You know what, I'm not from the West Coast. I was born in the South. And we put all these limits around ourselves when really we have the ability to like shine as big and bright as we want to. And Helen Keller is a great example of that. Somebody that was blind, someone that was deaf, but someone that took the ability that this lady had and thrived in life to where her name and her story lives on today. Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg was diagnosed years and years ago with dyslexia. And think about this. Think about how he used his ability to do what he's done in life. Most of us know and have heard of Steven Spielberg. Here's another one, Justin Timberlake. Most of us know the name Justin Timberlake. He was diagnosed, with ADHD or ADD, obsessive compulsive disorder, different things. And even though with some diagnosing, some limitations, maybe whatever, he's done a lot in his career. Okay. And there's plenty of others out there. My point being today is we got the ability to do whatever we want to. So, Andrea, I'm going to turn it to you. Sorry for some technical difficulties this morning.
Oh, well, thank you for jumping on. Glad you're able to get on with your phone. I got nervous for a minute there. I do not have the ability to fill 15 minutes, so I'm glad that you were able to jump back in there. So the quote that I found, and this was a good one, it says, "We all have ability. The difference is how we use it." And that was Stevie Wonder. So that goes right along with what you were saying, Coach. So definitely love that. And, but sometimes I feel like in the hustle and bustle of our life, we are so occupied and so busy that we forget to kind of reflect on ourselves and figure out what our abilities are. But sometimes life throws us curveballs that we have to reassess and figure some things out. So maybe we lose a job, or we have an injury, or we move, or we face some kind of adversity, or maybe we just get bored, right? And we have to kind of step back and figure out, okay, wait a minute. If I want to move into a different direction, or if I need to move into a different direction, what are my abilities? So how can I take a little bit of time to analyze myself and figure out what in the world they are? So that's what I'm going to talk about today. So first of all, take an assessment. Like, I don't know if everybody's high school did this. I think it was pretty common, but your senior year, maybe it was your junior year, you took that big old test. It was like, do you like this? Do you like that? Can you do this? Can you do that? And it was a million of just pretty much yes or no questions from what I remember. This was a couple years ago, just one or two, a couple years ago. But you took this big old test and it pretty much spit out and said, you would be really great at, and it gave you some ideas for careers. Well, we can still do that. Right? I don't think anybody on here is 18 or 17 anymore, but it doesn't matter. We can go online. There's a ton of different tests that we can take to assess ourselves, to kind of figure out, okay, where do my abilities fall? If you need to kind of make a little bit of move. And then next, figure out what makes you feel strong. So, I feel really great working in spreadsheets, right? So if you put me in front of an Excel file, I'm like, oh, I can do this, right? That falls in my line of ability. But if you sit me in front of an engine and say, I don't know, even open the hood, I mean, as pathetic as that sounds, or change the oil, I would kind of stare at you with a really dumb look on my face, because that doesn't fall in my line of ability. So kind of look around your life. Some things you feel confident walking up to it, and some things you feel less than confident. So that can help show where your abilities lie. Next, I thought this was interesting. Find what you spend the most money on, because that probably means it's in your wheelhouse. So maybe, and I'm going to try to talk in a way I don't know, I should probably, anyway, but maybe you're an athlete and you collect cleats. I don't know, like you just have, maybe you've got like the tracker watch, and you've got, special shoes, and like you have all these things that show that, wow, you really love to exercise. You spend a lot of exercise. Maybe physical ability is a place that you should focus on and you should develop. Obviously, that's not mine. So I should have gone in something. Maybe you have a lot of pairs of shoes and maybe fashion is something that you should focus on. I don't know. But next, ask your friends what your best and worst qualities are. And I think sometimes we try to force ourselves to go down paths that really are taking us out of our strength zone. So if we can talk to the people closest to us and say, help me, where do you think I'm really good? And where do I lack? And that can help you figure out what your abilities are. Next, ask your family, what did you love as a child? Like maybe you were always dancing, always dancing, always dancing. Well, that probably played, like we like to do things that we're good at, right? So that plays into your ability. Next, write a journal. Sometimes when we put pen to paper, our ego can get a little bit of distance, right? So when we're kind of living our life and we're moving around, our ego can sometimes get in our way, where we can say, well, it doesn't really feel great, or I don't feel like I'm really strong. But when we take that time and that little bit of distance to write it down, we can really fall into and figure out what our strengths are. Next is look for talent in others. So sometimes it's not like we admire in other people either what we really want or something that it's probably within us. right? We're like, they're really great at communicating. If that's something that really attracts you, you're probably a pretty good communicator as well. And that's something that you could put in your strengths box. And then remember what you've been thanked for, right? So if a lot of people, if you look back in your life and a lot of people have thanked you for speaking to their class, well, maybe speaking to people is a way that you have a lot of strengths. And then lastly, this, and I thought this was an interesting one too, take stock in your book collection or your music collection or your movie collection. Because again, what you're attracted to is going to be what you're interested in. And a lot of times that's where your strengths and abilities are. So, life isn't always a straight line. Sometimes it throws us some curveballs. So we need to be aware of our abilities so that we can adapt and deal with the ups and downs of life. So this was a powerful one today, Coach. So thank you, Madeline. I definitely appreciated it. Good lesson for me.
Yeah, Madeline, thank you for the words. Andrea, great lesson today. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back on Monday.
See you Monday. Have a great weekend.